Can you all see me? Can you see me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So so I'll just like to introduce the club. Thank you everyone. I'll be stopping between because some people are still trying to join. So my name is Emmanuel Aiyede. I'm the lead for this year's session of the Google Developer Students Club. So what we basically are a student development community that helps to basically provide development for community members, for both aspiring and student developers. So we provide you with sessions like speaker sessions, tech talks, and fireside chats, as well as introductions to people in the field of tech. Some of our members have gone on to work for several startups in Nigeria and across the world, like Google and several others. Google, Bycoins, Y Combinator startup, SendMe, and several others. We also help connect for job opportunities as well. So it's nice to meet everyone here. If you have any questions or you have any comments, please say it in the chat so that I'll be able to respond as well. So yeah, it seems like our speaker will be a bit late, and we are still adding up. So basically, for this session, I would just like to probably try and share my agenda. This session. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, someone said he can't see my screen. Okay, can anyone still see my screen now?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, I was a bit confused. So we'll just talk about GDSC for now, and then Michael Mekuleyi will basically be talking about how he leveraged the community to reach to where he is right now. So like I mentioned before, developers students community is basically a club that helps educate student developers or aspiring student developers in the field of engineering and tech. So you don't have to be a techie. You don't mind the way the podcast was structured. So you could just be someone who's interested or trying to learn new skills, and then we'll be able to still benefit from the community. If anyone has any question or now, please feel free to send it in the chat. Yeah. So that's it. So I guess if anyone could please share their screens, that would be great, so that we can sort of like record and sort of like just like do quick intros. So I'd like to first try and introduce Solomon Idowu on the call, and then I believe Damilola Alimi is here, so I'll check. Okay. Okay. So Solomon, if you could please introduce yourself, that would be great. Great, thank you, Solomon. So that will be your non-technical head. He's the one that has been in charge of all the broadcasts and basically organize the thing. So I'm sure some of you must have been aware of when we're recruiting like 2 weeks ago for several roles. So currently the applications are closed now. But for those of you that applied for active members, they applied to be active members. We'll be reaching out to you soon in the coming 2 weeks. So please check out for your emails. Once again, thank you for joining. So sorry about that. It seems our speaker will be a little bit late. I'm going to expect. So if anyone could just do like a quick round of introductions, I would just like to learn more about what you're building. So if you could just run us through.
My name is Oyero Abib. I'm the web development team lead for this administration. My stack involve I do front end, back end, and my major stacks are React, Next.js, Python, and Django. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Kosiso, and I'm a web developer. Yeah. My major stacks are Node.js and Flask.
Oh, wow. So that's back end. I'm sorry about
Yeah,
the
back
line.
end.
I'm back now. So I'll shortly be introducing our first speaker by I believe Michael is on the call. If Michael could it's on the call. Let me see. Yes.
Hi. I'm on the call.
So I'll go at the top here. I would just like to just do a quick introduction onto what you do and basically about it. So Michael is was actually first of all he's a graduate in University of Ibadan, mechanical engineering. I think I'll add the first class. I don't know if it's that important in the sector, but I'll add that. Let them know that apart from being a tech is a boss. So while I was in school, he was a machine learning engineer for Build Code Together. That's BCT. Some of you might know the places like it used to be a hub. I believe there's still a hub where basically you could access data and tech. He was a data scientist for Digital Fire. I was a technical product manager for Fine. And then he's the current CTO for SendMe, a Y Combinator startup. Basically, a startup that uses social commerce and artificial intelligence to meet the demands of animal protein in Nigerian households and businesses. So, call this also yesterday accepting Y Combinator. For some of us that do not know what Y Combinator is, they are basically produced startups like Airbnb and Coinbase, as well as Flutterwave and Paystack. So you can see that Oga here is working with billion-dollar companies that are still ongoing. So we are using this style to just, like connect. So I'd like to introduce Michael to the community, and he'll then be able to talk about his experience on how he leveraged the community building for his tech career. Michael, you have the floor. Thank you.
Hello, Emmanuel. Hi. Apologies for joining a little bit late. I was on a call with CEO, so we had to just clarify a lot of stuff. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So should I go ahead to share my screen so that we can start?
Yeah, sure. I think you have access. You are an issue, please let me know.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, give me a second, please. Yeah. Leveraging community building for a tech career. I don't know. I'm a very interactive person, and I'm also going to be on the chat section. I want to know, like, how many people are just like starting in their tech career? Like, just say, I'm just starting my tech career. If you're just starting on your tech career and you're just like really, really fresh, maybe perhaps this is the first this is the first time you have maybe heard of something in code, or this is the first time that you have seen, this is the first time you have heard of code. Probably you've not. Just say hi in the chat section. I just want to see how many fresh guys we have. Even GDSC saying hi. I just want to see how many fresh guys we have in. Okay. Yeah. So I think we have a couple of. Okay. Now, if you have just held one technical role, if you are less than 2 years, like if you have less than 2 years experience in technical roles, can you just say hi to? Less than 2 years experience. Let's see how many people do we have. Yeah, less than 2 years experience into tech. Okay. Damilola, you don't.
And
If you see my status, you see that a lot of the time I post about payments. I post about payment structure. I post about Paystack, about Stripe. I just love financial technology. That's my LinkedIn over there. Now you can find everything about me, linkedin.com/in/Monarin. And then that's my Twitter. So I'm going to show you one profile. So this was my profile when I just joined DSC. So when I became DSC lead, I don't know if Sodiq is on the call. Hawal told everyone to create a profile. So when I was, it was my first week. Okay, they announced DSC leads in like August, and in September, I was like, everybody create an introductory profile so that when we're going to see in Ghana. When we see in Ghana, everybody can introduce themselves. This was my profile then. It was in 2019. I was 400 level mechanical engineering. I was a data science guy, a machine learning engineer. I was also in front end. I was so much into deep learning code. Like I still have some machine learning systems that are up. And I used to love innovation and I used to like vegetable soup. Now I don't just like. I don't know. I think there's been some growth from when this first profile to this. And now this is my career journey. Now, I put the role I held and how I got the role. All the roles I've ever gotten in my life, they were first by referral. So we are going to take it little by little, and we are going to take some breaks wherever we see breaks. So I'm just going to give like 2 questions or 2 minutes in case anybody wants to ask any question up until now, because like I'm going to go in depth here, and you can just ask. Maybe I'll just take 1 question in the chat section. If I've said anything that you found maybe probably confusing or something, you can just ask, and if there's none, I will just go ahead. Do we have any questions? Okay, we do not have any question. Let me just go ahead. My first role was as an ML engineer at Build Code, pure referral. I remember that day, my friend that is currently the CEO of, it took me to meet this guy, and this guy said he wanted to build he wanted the machine. Okay, fine. So I was doing exams. It was in 300 level, and I just quit those exams. After the exam, I didn't quit the exams. Of course, I did the exams well. After my exams, I remember September 1, 2018, I resumed in Build Code, 300 level as a machine learning engineer. and I was just writing machine learning systems. I remember the first system we built was detecting plate numbers from cars. So we built a system that could detect plate numbers. And we built a system also with the current CEO of Lumen, a system that could detect the type of soil. So soil types, we built a mobile app that could detect soil types. We built a mobile app, an API that could detect cars. We built an API that could detect heart disease. We're in the process of building APIs that could read ECG data. We're in the process of building APIs that could read ECG data. And then we built a language model. So we built a whole lot of AI models that we use for a lot of demo purposes and that we use to really learn the young structure. Now, after that job, I went to Digifix. I remember how I worked at Digifix. CEO of Digifix, Ibukun just called me and was like, "Hi, Michael, let's see my office or something." He came. At that time, I was doing data science for, I don't know how many people know Hiroshi. Digifix was handling some stuff for Hiroshi then. So I was doing data science for Hiroshi. I was doing data science for other companies that Digifix was handling data for. So a couple of Digifix, like of course the detail figures. And then at Digifix, I was able to meet other software engineers. And then I started writing mobile code with Flutter. I wrote some React, but it was not for me. But then I started writing Flutter code at Digifix. And then we built an app. I don't know if it has launched, but we built an app then at Digifix. And before it could launch, I got another job at Lawrence Price. Now, ML engineer built code in the first role through referral. Data scientist at Digifix, through referral. And I also did a technical interview so that, I was handling actual people's data, doing analytics on the data, consumer analytics, all those kinds of stuff. Now, engineering manager at Lawrence Price. The company was young at the time. A friend of mine was working in capital at Lawrence Price. And then the guy was like, "Okay, Michael, we have this software problem that I want to solve. We don't have software engineers. Can you come in? Hire the entire team? Can you build this product? Can you hire a designer? Can you manage the entire team?" And this was the job that broke me into like managing engineering teams, because I had no experience managing an engineering team, no experience at all. I had no experience delivering a product. Now I've delivered quite a lot of products that are in the market and I have users. But engineering manager at Lawrence Price, I had to hire the entire team from designer to front-end engineer to back-end engineer, down to the guy that was going to the airport set up DevOps. I had to hire the entire team and I had no experience doing it. I had just a little experience of front-end code. I had just a little experience of back-end code. And then I just tried to mix everything together. It was a fun experience in the sense that, I could get to experiment. So it was not at scale, but I could get to experiment on managing an engineering team. Like, how do you get guys to be productive? How do you get guys to get the work done? How do you get guys to do the work? How do you get guys to be excited about working? You're resuming work, whether remote, on site, and you're excited about the product you're building. You're not just coming because of your pay. Yes, I'm going to get the pay. Yes, the pay is good. But how get people to want to put in the work? When you're also building in a startup, there's no structure. You just want to get a lot of code out. You just want to solve the problem, whether a website or something. How do we get people to do the work? And at Digifix, we built Black Box. We built Black Box. We built a couple of products. We were able to we previewed the product. We tested the product. Payments was working fine. I was also on mobile. Sorry, at Lawrence Price, we built Black Box. I was also on mobile then as an engineering manager. I also built the mobile app. And we built a couple of stuff. We launched both the holding page, and then we launched Black Box. And that was my first experience managing an engineering team. Like I said, it was through referral because people had known me to be authentic. They knew that, okay, if I join your team, I'm going to try to put in everything that I can to make sure we deliver this product. I'm not just joining the team just for joining, you know. If I cannot add a lot to that team, I would not join. Now, I also joined Seamless HR. I don't know if a lot of you know Seamless HR. This was probably the shortest job I've ever... No, it's not the shortest. No, it's not the shortest. So I joined Seamless HR for 3 months. And I was the data at Seamless HR was somebody that I had worked with before. So it was like, oh, we want to do something on data engineering. Michael had done ML engineering, had done data science. So I'd done a lot of things for him before in terms of data. And it was like, let's call Michael. He's going to solve all our problems. And I got into Seamless HR. I started restructuring the data that was coming from the DevOps team. We started putting in some structure to the way things were going. And you could see the hiring process. First of all, somebody referred me. Then I did a technical interview with the COO. And that, I think, I've forgotten his name. Well, very smart guy. And then I did a culture interview with CEO. And I remember Omomi was HR then. And we did all the interviews and I resumed Seamless HR, you know. Awesome. I think that company was where I learned culture in engineering. So that company has great culture. Seamless HR has great culture. So I joined Seamless HR. I left in 3 months because my manager left. And when my manager left, nobody was leading the data engineering team for about a week. So my manager left on like the 20th. Till like 27th, I didn't have a manager. Nobody was communicating with me. And like, I just put in my notice that, you know what, nobody's communicating, nobody's talking to me. I was the only person in like data engineering and I was in the growth team. So, strike. So I was in Lagos. I had done 2 months out of school. And like we're about to write exams. So I just put in the notice since I didn't have a manager, one. And we're also about to write exams too. And a lot of stuff really that were not adding up. So I just put in notice after 3 months. And it was really exciting to have worked with that team, but it was not at the right time. And yeah, then Deji called me. I can never forget that call. It was in the night. And then I had done some work for Deji. Deji is the CTO at Seamless HR. And Deji was like, okay, why are you quitting? I said I didn't have a manager. And then I also told him that I was going back to school. He didn't even know I was a student at that time. And he was like, okay, fine. When you are done or when things look brighter, we can just have a conversation. So I left Seamless HR. I didn't have a job at that time. And then I went to write 500 level first semester exams. And then I joined Money Africa as a technical product manager. Money Africa is very interesting to work with. It was in Money Africa that I got my first experience managing payment API. I can never forget. There was a particular week in Money Africa that I practically did not sleep. The reason I did not sleep was simple. Our product in Money Africa called ladder.ng. People did savings, mutual funds. I didn't hire the entire team. I only hired one backend engineer, and then I hired our QA engineer. And then when I joined, a lot of things were not on ladder. A lot of things were not working. BVN verification was not working. A lot of stuff that we're not mentioning here were not working. So the first thing was set up Jira, set up tax, set up Epic, set up a pipeline, set up workflow, set up a whole lot of stuff for the company, set up I set up a lot of stuff for Money Africa. I moved everybody to Jira, set up customer success on Jira, set up Play Store feedback loop on Jira, and we were tackling the issues one after the other. We were doing a lot of stuff. Engineering became sweet. Another thing is when you have a really vibrant product manager, or if the person that's leading your engineering team is really, really vibrant, you enjoy the engineering team, because then you can jump on stuff, you can grow technically. And that's what engineers are always looking to grow technically, and they're always looking to enjoy the work. So it became enjoyable technically. I remember at Money Africa, at a point, we didn't have a CTO. So I was basically doing engineering management and technical product management at the same time, just trying to make sure everything went well. I went from just ladder to my.com, trying to build up the new space. And then at the time I left Money Africa, at some point, like you can see the interviewing process that got me to Money Africa. First of all, it was referral. A friend screenshot another person's WhatsApp status, and they were looking for a technical product manager. And they screenshot it and they sent it to me. And the guy was like, I know the guy that is hiring. And okay, fine. We started the technical interviews. There were a lot of technical interviews. I had to first meet with the engineering team. The engineering team had to like you because you'll be a product manager. So if the engineering team does not like you, like you'll be managing them, but if they do not like you, you will not get in. So they asked me a lot of questions, a lot of funny questions. And then I had to also meet with like the executive team. I met with CEO. We did all those interviews. I did a culture interview. And after some time, I got the offer and then started working, started structuring the product. We were able to grow we grew over 50% at that point. We added quite some more offerings. We were able to tighten our engineering. And then I got into Fine as an engineering manager too, as a mobile engineer. It was through referral. A friend just told me on WhatsApp that I know somebody that is hiring. I can remember clearly, it was on a Sunday. So it was in church. So, when we're like, mobile engineer, and then I think we stood up to do something. Was it tithe or offering? It was offering. And then I got the WhatsApp notification that, I know somebody that is looking for a mobile engineer. And I was like, awesome. Before service finished that day, I had already sent my CV, sent my LinkedIn, because, I always have those things at the tip of my, even now, I have like a very, very, very updated CV, very updated to my current role. And my LinkedIn is always updated. So I sent my CV and LinkedIn, scheduled an interview, did a technical interview. And then I started first as a mobile engineer on the Fine team. Then I started managing the product. At this time too, I also worked as software engineer at SendMe. At that time, I was the first software engineer at SendMe. We didn't have a structure yet. We just wanted to build a base product, and we just wanted to get out in the market. And I had actually started software engineering. At that point, SendMe was like, if you can just code our systems. It was not a full-time role. So like in 2020, I built SendMe's first website, built our AI bot at that time, built a small backend in 2020. We didn't do much in 2021. In 2022, it was just could I say, on and off, really. But, in 2021, end of 2021, we decided to get systems. And then I resumed as CTO in SendMe January 15, 2022, this year. I hired the entire engineering team. Back-end engineer, front-end engineer, product engineer, designers. Everybody that works on our team right now, I had to hire the entire team because I had experience in engineering management, hiring people at Lawrence Price. I had experience hiring people at Money Africa. And so it was easy for me I understood the hiring process. I've gone through the hiring process a couple of times for some really great companies. So it was easy for me to just, be able to put out those things there and to be able to hire candidates and try to develop the culture where people want to grow and where people want to innovate. Yeah, so that's up until now. These are yeah, all the jobs I have done. Yeah, it's quite some journey. Now, most of the jobs that I got, I still had to do a lot of technical interviews, but most of the jobs I got were purely from networking. So I would go to an event, meet a friend, we would have a technical discussion. By the time we are done with this technical discussion, this guy will say, oh, you're pretty solid on this, you can do this. Let me get your number. The guy that gave me the job, met him once, and I met him in 2019. We've not seen physically since then. But when we had the technical discussion, it was really in depth. Like, we went to the depth of Flutter, we were discussing stuff, and I was like, you know what? I think you're solid. And we've been talking since then. So number one reason is, when you're networking, you have to network with a purpose. Number one, you want to network to grow. Like, you're not networking so you know a lot of people. I don't try to network so I can know a lot of people. If I see this guy, if I want to get a role at some place, he's not being selfish, and this guy works there, just walk up to him, have a discussion. Drive to be as technical as possible. Test the guy's knowledge. Okay, how about this? How does your system? If I meet Stripe now, I know the questions I'll ask the guys in Stripe. I'll be like, how does your payment infrastructure work? How do you do settlement? How do you do reimbursement? How do you do reconciliation? How is search reliability on Stripe? How do you do observability on Stripe? How do you observe? What are your metrics like? How do you use Prometheus? How are your infrastructure? Is it for high availability or for resilience? Or do you guys build a lean infrastructure on your network? So when you're meeting somebody that you want to be friends with, try to be as technical as possible. It might not seem really cool, but you want to quickly authenticate yourself as somebody that is technically sound and somebody that is serious. So if I meet somebody and the person is asking me, I'm already really interested in conversation, how does SendMe manage supply chain? How do you do this amount of orders per week? How do you do delivery fast? I want to talk to the person. I want to say, oh, we break things down. Then, okay, what do you write your front end in? How do you do this? How do you do that? And then the person, there's a conversation. I can quickly rapport with that person, and then we can grow the conversation from there. And so, like I said, do not just network so you can know a lot of people in the community. That's great. But if you are going to be networking deliberately, network on the basis of growth. So you are networking because, oh, I want to get to understand what this person wants. I want to be a friend of this person. Network based on technical ability, like, oh, how does the Flutter Paint engine works? Software design principles, dependency inversion. Try to be as technical as possible when networking. It is going to authenticate you fast. In fact, when people say, oh, I want this done as an engineering problem, they remember you. I spoke to this guy at an event. It seemed really sound. I once got an offer at an event. I didn't work at the company. They just got into Google's accelerator program. And then we started talking at the event. Before you know, they offered me like to come and work for them. But at that time, I was already working elsewhere. And even though we didn't speak about an offer at that time, I just had to let it go. So if you are networking, it does not mean you should like go on to the big details and all to the minute details. But try to be deliberate in your networking. Try to go deep, especially if you are networking with an experienced person. If you are networking, like, let me say, Ethereum Foundation, you can ask what is sharding, how the merge, what is soft fork, what is hard fork, proof of work, proof of stake, proof of work 2.0. Try to be as deep as possible. And number two is ask a lot of questions. You do not want to come off as too knowledgeable, or you do not want to come off as proud. So you are networking to also get this person interested in you, but you're also networking to also learn from this person. So you're networking to learn from this person. Okay, how do you do this at Stripe? How do you do this at Paystack? What's the engineering structure like at Paystack? And people will always willingly tell you engineering information is an open community. It's not like business where we keep secrets. Like if you meet an engineer genuinely from someplace and you ask them a question about their system, if it is not confidential, they'll tell you. They'll say, oh, this is what we do, this is what we do, observing, this is how we roll out our... So the engineers are usually free. I mean, when I mean they're free, I mean like they talk freely. So the fourth thing is join technical sessions. As much as possible, you want to join technical sessions. Like code is king here. People will most likely only pay you for your technical skills. As much as you are networking, people will only pay you for your technical skills. Like, I don't know how much further I can drive that, but nobody will pay you for knowing a lot of people practically. Nobody will also pay you for doing a lot of stuff. Now, you can be energetic, you can do a lot of stuff, but in the end, people want to pay for your technical skills. It does not have to be code. Engineering management is all about organizing engineering effort, hiring engineering team, managing engineering delivery. Product management, technical writing skills, like how deep are your articles, developer advocacy skills. How good are you at relaying a technology, communicating a technology, breaking down the use of a technology to a lot of people? So all those technical skills, UI UX design skills, how good are you with symmetry? How good are you with colors? How good are you designing pleasant interfaces? How good are you with spacing? How good are you with design systems? Your fundamentals of UI UX design, how solid are they? How foundational is your design? Be as technical as you can be. You want to go there. You want to join technical sessions. You want to get lost. If I go to an event, I will join the session where I will most likely get lost. So you always find me in the cloud section because that place is so large and people get lost easily. So yeah, you will find me looking at Kubernetes, Docker, places that I don't know. And then the fifth one is focus on the code. In this one, when I mean focus on the code, I mean focus on that technical aspect of your work. So it could be UI UX, it could be technical writing, it could be product management, it could be backend, it could be front end, it could be DevOps. Whatever you do, like focus on the core of your craft. It could be dev advocacy. Now, a lot of people are just realizing how important dev advocacy is because the guys that will build software will be different from the guys that will teach you how to use software. Like if you build software and people do not know how to use it, or you write software in the language of other people that write software, get confused. And they all started from Google. Google engineers used to directly write the docs for Google APIs. A lot of people were getting lost. And, that dev advocacy culture started from those companies, Google, Apple. They realized that, okay, you know what? The engineers that build our technology cannot be speak on the technology. We need people that can simplify stuff and break things down. So just focus on the craft and try to build it. Let me see if there are any questions. Oh, okay. There's a question here. How can we leverage community to start speaking at technical conferences? You mentioned a lot of roles. Okay. So leverage community to start speaking at tech conferences. I think the first thing is the very, very, very first thing is like you want to be as knowledgeable as possible. I'm going to be frank. The first event that I spoke in on AI, it was 2018, early 2018. I'd not written any AI code. So they were just like, who can speak on this? And then I was like, okay, I'm an enthusiast on this topic. I know what this topic can do. I can speak on robotic systems. I can speak of surveillance systems. And at that time, I'd not written any AI code, but I was an enthusiast. So I went for the event and I built an entire piece of slides, and everybody loved the event. Now, the second event, remember the event clearly, IO Extended 2019. When I was speaking on AI, I was speaking with an app. I had written a lot of AI code. And then that event, that event made it clear that I knew a lot of the stuff I was talking about. To speak at a lot of AI events. I spoke at TensorFlow developer workshops. I spoke at another IU Extended. I spoke at I think DevFest. I started speaking on AI. Really, what you want is for people to be authenticated. You want people to understand that, you know what, this topic, this person knows this topic, and this person is really good at speaking on this. So whether it's Kubernetes, if I want to talk about Kubernetes, Docker, I know the guy to call right now. And I'm sure that I give him one night, he's able to like churn up a slide. If I want to talk about AI, also know the guy that I need to speak to right now. Usually that's me too, but I know the guy to speak to. If I want to talk about Flutter, if I want to talk about community, there's also one guy in Nigeria that is really good at this. He's even on this call. I'm not going to say his name. So he's really good at, managing communities. He's really good at managing developer ecosystems. He knows how to rally developers around to like go with a single cause. So you really want to be known and you want to be authenticated for something, for one particular topic, and you want people to follow you on that particular topic. I mentioned a lot of roles where I was doing many things for the first time. How did I manage self-doubt or imposter syndrome? How did you find ways to fill the gap in your knowledge? Well, like if you started afresh many times, like starting afresh is no longer scary. So like if joining a role, not technical, I don't advise you to do a technical role you know nothing about. They'll probably fire you the second month. But when you started developing your skill in something, a lot of employers don't care how technical you are, right? They just care that a lot of the problems are being solved from a pure business angle. So while I was at engineering manager at Lawrence Price, that was my first role, engineering management. I didn't want to write front-end code. I didn't want to write back-end code. I wanted to stick to mobile code. So I advised management, give me an engineering budget. I want to spend, at that time it was still 2020, I want to million on engineering per month. I want to spend X amount on engineering per month. Give me an engineering budget. So they gave me an engineering budget. That was not the amount, but they gave me an engineering budget. And then I used the engineering budget to say, okay, if I'm with this engineering budget, I'm going to hire this person. I hired some guys from Mandela. I had one guy from Mandela. Two guys from Mandela. So the front-end engineer was ex-Andelian. The back-end engineer was ex-Andelian. I had a designer that I could trust to deliver. A lot of people do not care how technical you are, especially when you're starting. Care that you can. So if you like start in DevOps now, like start 3 months, you know how to build a pipeline, you know how to deploy architecture. When you get your first role and you perform, like you do well in interviews, of course, you'll be hit with imposter syndrome. But like I said, you just want to make sure that all the tasks along the way, you're killing them. Like every single task is just... If you have to text your friend that is an experienced guy and say, you know what, I have this task at work, put me through A, B, C, D. I did it a lot. I did it a whole lot. I did it when I started writing Flutter again. Like, the ecosystem will move. You will never be as knowledgeable as you should be. You should learn to reach out to people that are good. And the most important thing is just have enough knowledge to solve the technical problems. Have enough knowledge to kill the tasks. If you have enough knowledge, if you are killing your tasks and your product manager is happy, you're performing, and then you keep on validating yourself. Like the validation keeps on increasing that, you know what, if I kill these tasks, if I get this done, I can do this, and you keep on validating yourself. So the only way to deal with imposter syndrome is by getting out there, dealing with the fear, and just keep on focus on the task and nothing else. Like, don't ask yourself if you fit in. Do ask yourself if you are technical as possible. Just when your product manager all your technical skill, all your time in delivering that task. And then you'll notice that over time, your confidence starts to grow. Let me go back to the slide. And scale your authenticity. This is the most important point in this slide. I said that where I work now, I started working with the person in 2018. It was my first ever employer. Over the years, he kept on bringing work to me. Because you know that the thing about me is that if you give me work, I put myself in your shoes. And I say, okay, I'm paying somebody to get this done for me. I expect timely feedback, number one. I don't care if I don't care if you cannot do the job, but I expect you to be clear, truthful. Okay, we have a problem in this, we have a problem in this, we have a problem in this. There was a break.
That's from, so I think it was continue. You have like 10 more minutes, sharp.
Okay, that works. So, okay. I just saw your messages. Yeah, like this is like my second to the last slide. So you want to scale your authenticity. You want to focus on being able to do the job. You want to be known to get the job done. Sodiq will agree with me that you want to be known to get the job done. It works. Like if you are known over 3 years to be able to, you don't want to be the guy that is doing a lot of things and then people cannot count on you. Yes, you might be good, but when people cannot count on you, they will rather go for someone that is not as technical as you, but is reliable. You want to be very reliable and very authentic. You also want to develop your cultural skills, learn to talk to people, learn to communicate. It's not just about technical skills. Learn to communicate, learn to write emails, learn to speak out for yourself, learn to do all those necessary things. Find your passion and follow it to the end. So you want to be as passionate for, you want to be very passionate for at the things you do. You want to find your passion and then you want to follow it to the end. And follow technical excellence in networking. Like I said, when you are networking, the key thing in networking, you want to make the other person you are talking to technically interested in you. So you want, because this code, this software engineering, you want to develop that interest. So you want to be asking technical questions, not too technical, but you understand the domain of this person and you're networking deliberately. So, okay, if I meet a Stripe engineer, I already know some things about their system. I'm asking them, okay, I'm building something on payments. I'm not processing so much, but how did you do this? How did you achieve this? How did you achieve stability? They start talking to you. You chip in some of your ideas there, you draw back and you listen again. So that sort of, if you meet, it's the same thing if you meet a UI UX designer, if you meet a pro, able to network with that kind of excellence. They get interested in you, they get your contact, and you can follow up conversations. Now, finding your first job, like I said, I'm assuming that you've not done any job before. This is your first job. And number one is to do as many technical courses as possible. It will stand you out. Do as many technical courses as possible. Trust me, it will stand you out. Because at that point, everybody knows you do not have experience, but you can be knowledgeable. And if you are knowledgeable, you can develop experience. Just keep on doing the technical courses until the opportunity to prove your knowledge comes in. Focus on growing and avoid being the only developer on your team. If it's your first job and you're the only developer, run. Because you can't grow. You can't share ideas. If you hit a bug, it's you and the bug and management. You want to avoid being the only developer on the team. You want to develop an ecosystem of guys that can build with you. Focus on growth. Avoid vibes. You can be soft on avoid vibes because vibes, they're very key, very important sometimes. But then avoid just vibing to what is new and what is fresh. Focus on growth. Focus on growth. Focus on doing technical courses. Avoid being the only developer on the team. And network as much as possible. Yep, that's the end of my presentation. I hope I am on time. I think I am on time. Am I on time? Yes.
That's not a question I can answer right now. So thank you. I think the only question left is Okay, I think you answered all questions. Thank you a lot, Michael, for the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask on the chat, and then probably we'll try and find answer them later on. So thanks a lot. So we'll be moving on to the next speaker for the session. So if all of us are paying attention, there was one Oga that Michael was referencing that knows how to rally developers, and then he's here with us today. He's the he's the developer ecosystem community manager for Sub-Saharan Africa. That is like Sub-Saharan Africa, like Africa as a whole. His name is Sodiq Akinjobi. I believe he's on the call. He was the previous developer relations at Credo, Africa's first social payment platform. Was the community manager lead for Flutter Lagos, and he's also looking into Web3 and decentralization. So he has a large network of developers, and he'll be introducing us to GDSC. So Sodiq, if you are on the call, if you could answer. Sodiq, sorry, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm coming. Let me just.
Okay, hi everyone. Good to meet everyone again. I see that I've met some people here, and I see that I've not met some people, but all in all, I'm excited to be here. Because my talk will be very, very short because I have another clashing call, so I'll make it as short as possible. But try to in good hands, so I do not have voice. Firstly, I want to thank Michael for that insightful presentation. You can already tell that Michael is an Odogu. You can see all his portfolio and references as much. So I'd advise you to bill him appropriately. That's the first thing. The second thing is I think I want to switch my work to a bit. So what's it called? I'll just do a quick rundown, very, very fast, of what GDSC is, and then if you have any questions, I'll try and take whatever questions that you have and try and answer them. Okay, so yeah, so my name is Sodiq Akinjobi. I work on what we call the DevRel team at Google, where I support the Google Developer Student Club program in this part of the world for the Africa region, Sub-Saharan Africa. And what GDSC is, for new people that do not know about it, is GDSC is community groups for students that are interested in technology, right? And they sort of provide students with the opportunity to grow their knowledge in a peer-to-peer learning environment. So you are coming together as students and you're growing your knowledge and building solutions for local businesses and your community. And the reason why we are doing this is because we want to sort of bridge the gap between theory and practical. So all the theory that you've learned in school and then sort of give you access to learn more and actually put those things to life and give you access to tools, access to skills, access to resources and networks, meeting people like Michael, different people, right? And to sort of help you to contribute to your personal and professional development. And the vision of the program really is to impact students and empower students to impact their communities through technology. So give you that impact such that you can now go ahead and impact your communities. Some of the reasons why you should be a part of GDSC, or some of the best ways you should be a part of GDSCs is networking opportunities, a place to share ideas and feedback. You sort of get the opportunity to learn from your peers. You get access to amazing speakers from Google, and related companies, you get skills, right? Tools, developer resources. Yeah, some of you, this will be the first time you will face a public crowd, because some of you will be maybe facilitating a workshop for your GDSC, or you'll be facilitating a session, or you'll be hosting a panel. So it's sort of, for some of us, it was our first foray into professional speaking engagement and learning to speak at places and events. And then you also get that opportunity for professional and personal growth, where you are growing professionally and you're also growing personally. And then you get the opportunity for jobs and internship opportunity. Michael has shared some, how some of those things that he has done came directly from referral. And then directly just ties into, you're a GDSC member and there's an opening somewhere, and then maybe a GDS, and that GDSC member is hiring, or somebody else is hiring, and then you see it directly and they're able to apply and sort of give you that headway in getting those things, right? Some of the things I want you to look out for over the course of the is number one, code labs. So there'll be a couple of code labs where you come together and you try to code along and following a tutorial or a lab. There'll be study jams where you are learning whether it is cloud, or it is machine learning, or it is web, or it is any of those stuff, and trying to learn over a period of time. There'll be webinar and meetups where you're sort of deep diving into a particular topic, or you're having a panel session, and there'll be solutions challenge, which is really my own favorite out of all these things. And I'll explain more shortly, where you sort of put all of those learnings that you have learned and sort of use it to build. So I really like talking about solutions challenge, because it's really an annual contest where all of those things that you have learned over the past, all those things that you've been learning or you will learn, you now put it to use by trying to build and develop solutions for local community problems. We have seen this cause startups, right? From trying to build startups has emerged. We have also seen people getting projects that they can add to their portfolio for this. And then you get the opportunity to win and be mentored by Googlers and industry leaders on your projects that you're working on. So essentially you form a group and then you build a solution, and then you are learning by building. You know, there's one thing as following a tutorial. There's another thing as trying to learn as you are building real solution. And students are essentially learning, or you are solving one of the 17 SDGs goals that we have here. So whether it is no poverty, or it is zero hunger, or it is good health, or any of the 17, or a combination of them, you are looking at them and taking it locally and defining your own problem statement around one of this. And you're not just alone. The program has expanded a lot this year. We are now in 30+ countries in Africa, in about 231 clubs. The list has grown from the past cohort. And I like to call it local doings, global impact. So even if you're in Ibadan or you're on strike, and because of that you're in wherever you are, whatever part of the world that you are sort of getting that global impact, because this is really a truly global program. So apart from having an active in Africa alone, 30+ country in the world, there are about 1,500 clubs, more than 1,500 clubs worldwide. So meaning that if you travel to any part of the world, you can connect to a GDSC member or a GDSC lead in that country. And I'm really looking forward to, you've heard Michael's story, and then I feel like you'll be inspired, and I'll share a bit more about my story shortly, right? I essentially moved it to the end. You'd see that no matter the points that you are in, it's always good to share your story to inspire others, because where you're starting from, what might look like a small thing to you is what somebody will need to hear for them to get started. So I'm always trying to check out on Twitter using the hashtag Developer Student Club to see all all the stories that we have, and I always try and look at it. So feel free to share whatever you are learning, whatever your story is, whatever your journey is, and you can also submit your story to inspire others on the Google community blog. So using the go.gle/community story. And so lastly, I sort of wanted to just talk a bit about my journey, right? I intentionally did not talk about myself at the beginning, and I moved it to the end. So I started off like a student, like everyone here. So was a student at the best university in Nigeria, and I was a mentor for Ebony Hope, right? So sort of trying to help her. Ebony Hope currently works at Microsoft in Canada. So was joined that team as a mentor. I was trying to help DSC at that time, because there was no Google in the name, trying to help DSC grow. And then I got the opportunity to be selected as the lead for University of Lagos. And yeah, was doing it. So I got the opportunity to inspire others, help them grow, impact my community, and basically just help people. That was in 2019, the first tweet. And then fast forward to 3 years later, after 4 main things has happened, which I will talk on shortly, and I work at Google. And this is despite there was COVID, where there was a long COVID. I think there was one very long strike, right? Got the opportunity to do a few things. I think I'd worked in fintech, I'd worked in edtech, I've worked in a couple more places. I can't remember all of them. I'm not like Michael. Michael went to do history. I don't have history tab, but tried to do a couple of things, and then he led me here. And then I looked at all my journey, and I sort of wanted to bring out 4 major things that sort of stood out and made that transition or that journey possible. So the first one was there was a lot of learning for me along the way. So whether it was learning a new technology, because at the point I had to learn Flutter, I had to solidify my technical skills in PHP, I had to learn some things in Python, or whether it was learning things around soft skills, right? Speaking to people, presentation skills, people management, all of those things. At different points in time, I also had to build. I remember that it was a very interesting project for one of the top blogs in Africa that I worked on. There was one for a Fortune 500 company. So got the opportunity to build different amazing things at different points in time. I also got the opportunity to share, right? Sharing my story on different stage, sharing my work on Twitter, sharing it to different stakeholders. And then I had the opportunity to also grow incrementally in my personal life, in my professional life, and it sort of now leads to the point that I am here today. So if there's anything I want you to take away from here, it is that the 4 key things that you need to thrive is that you need to learn a lot, you need to build a lot, you need to share a lot, and then it now leads to all the different level of growth that you are looking to see. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, I sort of just wanted to mention, so we've started what we call Dev First Season, 2 final notes. We started what we call Dev First Season. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you, a couple of you at Dev Fest. I know that the Dev Fest is happening globally. The first one in Africa was today in Kigali. So whether you are going to be in Ibadan, or you be in Lagos, or you be in different Dev Fest that is happening, you can check out go.gle/Dev Fest, and just definitely looking forward to seeing and meeting most of you in person. If you see me at any point, please feel free to walk over. Hi, I'm X from Disco, so I'm looking forward to meeting a couple of you in person. Also, on a final note, second to the final note, sorry, I have so many final notes. I like this code a lot because it shows that in most cases, right, in cases of communities, so people always see communities like the leader has to drive the engagement of the community, right? But to be honest, there's just so little the leader can do. If the leader organizes all the programs in the world, all the events in the world, looks for all the best speakers. Look at Michael now, today now, CTO is time. You know how much Michael charge per hour. But if the participants do not come in to take advantage of those opportunities, then there really is no point. So I want to implore all of us to really take advantage of the opportunity and know that together as a community, there's so much that we can do, and there's so much that we are capable of. And then on my final note, this Wednesday, that's the next Wednesday, I know that Michael has talked a lot about getting jobs, getting into tech, and all of that. We are hosting a Twitter space with software engineers from Bloomberg, Microsoft, Meta, just to talk about getting started, getting a job in tech. And I think there's an HR professional that is going to be on that call. So to just deep dive into getting a job in tech. Once the flyer and all the details is out, the leadership team will share with you. I just wanted to mention it here first so that you hear the first-hand knowledge that something like that is happening, and you can prepare yourself to attend and take advantage of it. All right, so thank you so much for having me. And if there are any questions, I'll try and stay around for like 35 minutes. Yeah, thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Sodiq, for that session. If anyone has any questions, please ask in the chat so that we can answer them. Let me check. Okay. Okay, no one has any question right now. You do, please feel free to ask in chat. So thanks a lot again for that session. And like you said, we'll be having our Dev Fest, for example, in Ibadan on December 3rd. Yes, December 3rd this year. And you're all welcome to join. We'll also be having a solutions challenge later. So I'll just like to just dive in to basically our plans for GDSC for University of Ibadan, and basically be introducing some members of the team. Some of them are already on the call with us. I mean, there's enough time to make an introduction. So let me just try and share my screen. Okay. So can anyone see my screen? Just respond in the chat. So can you see my screen? Okay, thank you, Dami, thank you, Israel. So yeah, so this I'll just be running through the plans for this session. So for the month of October to December, we'll be having study jam sessions that will cover certain curriculums from Google and some personally. So currently we'll be running the UI UX, that's user interface, user experience design study jam session, cloud, Android, that's with Jetpack Compose from Google, and a cloud study jam session, as well as a machine learning study jam session. So all of you data scientists and people interested in cloud engineering, please be expecting us on the group, on your groups and on your status. We'll be having technical workshops as well. That will be covering specific topics in certain regions, as well as hands-on workshops to basically show you how to use certain Google tools and products, as well as have tech talks in which we talk to professionals from the field, like for example, Michael, also they come in and talk about their experience with tech and how they solve various problems. As Sodiq mentioned before, we'll be having a solutions challenge that will be trying to fulfill the SDG goals. It's be running, I believe, next year, like he mentioned, and yeah, we'll basically be we'll try and group people, try and recruit people who are interested in solving those problems, and then we'll see what can come up from this university, and then we'll just have fireside chats as well. So in order to basically just organize everything for the study jam sessions and the workshops, the team and I decided to work on basically creating separate teams for each quarter. So each quarter is for 3 months. So for when we meet Q4 of 2022, we mean from October to December, that's October, November, December. So while we're having the study jam sessions, we'll be having technical workshops, tech talks on the theme of introduction to tech problems. So basically how to use technological tools to basically solve problems in society. So where we're trying to interact with CTOs of tech startups, engineering leads, be having like technical questions to see how can use certain people to solve problems. Then for the first quarter of 2023, that will be from January to March. We'll be having basically non-coding opportunities. So while we is a student developers club, there are certain tools, for example, that are not personal that coding, like product management, product management, UI UX design, product. And so basically we'll be trying to interact with the non-technical aspects, as well as also try and ensure that students are basically aware of other things in tech that are not tech. So you could have technical writers, and just like inform everyone of the several opportunities that are available. Then the remaining, then for the second quarter, that's from April, May, June, we'll be talking about remote and job opportunities. So we'll talk about CV writing, resumes, basically how to handle remote jobs, since that's what's trending right ever since the pandemic. Remote jobs seem to be staying here, how to get them, how to ensure you are competent, how to improve your skills, like Michael talked about, and how to face things like imposter syndrome and whatnot. Then for the last session, which will be from July upwards to basically when tenure ends, session ends, depending on if we resume or not. Might not be dependent on that. We hope our students don't embarrass us. So we will talk about basically round up with the use of Google. We just go much more in depth into the type of Google tools there are, the opportunities, and yeah, that's basically the 4 things for this session. So I'll try and be introducing the core team members. I don't believe, okay, we don't have enough time to introduce them, so I'll just run through all of them. So my name is Emmanuel. I believe I introduced myself already. I'm the community lead for this session. Damilola Alimi is our co-lead. She's a very experienced programmer, and we're helping with the technical side of our part along with Ubaida. Solomon is our non-technical lead. Solomon is also on the call with me as well. So Ubaida will be our technical lead. So the non-technical team will basically be in charge of all those BCs that you have seen, all those flyers and designs. It was under him. So he has been reaching out to him. So for any issue you have had with him, it is him that I always refer back to. And for a technical issue, basically be in charge of the study jam sessions, organizing it with the rest of the team. And I, Damian, will be working on that. Then to just basically introduce you to some of the team members on the technical team. So Israel will be handling the blockchain field side of that, where we'll talk about how blockchain tools, DeFi, and several other Web3 and several other opportunities in the Web3 space. Testimony Adams will be running the hardware and IoT division. That's Internet of Things, embedded systems. That's like basic Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and basically anything hardware really that might pique your interest for sessions. Habib will be running the web development points of that, where you talk about different tools that can be used with Google. Nkwachi will be running the Flutter division. Yusugi will be running the cloud study jam as well, which was launched from October to December, as well as Alexander from AIM. And then Oluwatobe Sotunde will be our product management lead, where he will basically guide whole sessions on how to really enter the field of product management. So for a non-technical lead, you can see that for all the designs here, we have Mayowa. He has one that's been designing everything here. For event management, we have Ayomi. For our social media, we have Agbenu. For our PR media is Victoria. For our content creation, all those BCs and all the content. And then our Secretary General will be Blessing Najid. And that's really all for now. So if you want to contact us, you can see our Twitter link there. My phone number is there, and please register on the website, which is gsc.communitydev/USC of Ibadan, so that you can get up to date on all the study jam sessions, and as well be able to be aware of all the tech sessions and non-tech workshops that we have. And so with that, I think that will be all from my end. So yeah. So yes, thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to just give a quick shout out a quick shout out to Michael for giving us a beautiful session, as well as Sodiq. Thank you very much for educating us on the class for GDSC. And yeah, I believe that's all for today. Thank you, everyone, and we can close. Oh, okay. Sorry, are you still on the call? Don't believe it's on the call. So I guess we'll have. Okay, he answered. Oh, okay, sure. Farouk. Okay, okay. Hi Farouk. You can ask your question if you want to speak. You have the floor, or you want to send the chat. Sure, either one is fine. I'm not sure if Farouk is still on the call. Let me check. Farouk, can you hear me? Oh, okay. 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 So you made mention of something. So like I mentioned before, let me share my screen again one more time. Your question was how do you partake in your program as a non-GDSC member? So the first thing, so let me just share my entire screen. I think that's fine. Okay, I can share my screen. Okay. So like I mentioned before, once you log into here, you can just take a screenshot, or you can just contact me directly. We have several groups on WhatsApp, first of all, in which you'll be able to interact with GDSC leads, so you can contact me directly. And then by logging into this website and by signing up as a chapter member, you would have access to all the information and events regarding all study jam sessions that may be on UI, UX, or front end, or on web development, or on ML that you may be interested in, or you want to partake, as well as be able to know when we're having several sessions and other events that will be hosted by the community. So that's it. As for because I'm not sure if Sodiq can hear me, Paloma, I would have to in terms of the question of how do we stand and differentiate ourselves at the start of our career, I would have to get back to you on that. I will try and reach out back to Sodiq personally and see if I'll be able to get an answer. So I think that answers that. Is there anything else, Solomon? Oh no, due to the so there was a form that was filled, and due to the low basically application levels for cybersecurity, since there was very limited interest, there is no part right now. Although we may have some sessions or sessions that may cover some aspects, but there is no study part or study jam session for cybersecurity right now. Yeah, I think that's all. But just get in touch, sign up on the club's website, and then you never know. I just have one session on that. I think that's all, if I'm not mistaken. So Paloma, if you could please just say my number so that I can get back to you on the questions from Sodiq directly, that would be great. So yeah, thank you everyone, and I think we can close for the session. Thanks a lot for signing up, and please stay in touch, reach out and sign up for the chapter on the closed website so that you can receive more information, as well as look forward to all your groups and BCs and status updates for any future GDS session. So everyone, have a great day. Thank you.